My name is Garret Suhrie. I'm a photographer specializing in nocturnal landscapes. We did a couple cross-country road trips in my childhood. My dad was unable to fly, so every couple of summers we'd just drive out to the West Coast, go out to Yosemite and Yellowstone and visit a bunch of parks along the way. My brothers, the whole time, their faces buried in the Game Boy, but I was just head out the window the entire time, just completely in love with the landscape. So I felt like even from a young age, I was always drawn to that. And yeah, I definitely have them to thank for taking me on those trips, because they really kind of really dug that love in deep. My dad got me a subscription to National Geographic when I was 6, and growing up in central Pennsylvania, I thought the world was just boring trees and flat, and it was not the most impressive landscape to grow up in. Getting a small taste of how big the world was, and just the amazing people that are out there and the amazing scenes, and it just like sparked my imagination and just made me really just want to see the world. I mean, and all the amazing places in it. So I feel like that as an that introduction as a kid is really kind of what sparked my interest in the world as a whole, and wanting to get out and see as much of it as I could. My dad gave me on my 18th birthday my grandfather's camera, which is this old Minolta with like these 6 different lenses, and it was an antique, but got the job done. I was a painting major at Tyler School of Art. When I was going there, I also started traveling. I did like semesters in Tokyo and Rome, and kind of fell in love with traveling then too. And painting didn't really seem like it would mesh well with my love of travel. So that's when I picked up a camera and started exploring that as a medium. I like to treat every photograph like a painting. It's really hard to like kind of bring the grandeur and the beauty of a place into like just a 2D frame. So whatever I can do to kind of convey how amazing that place is whatever can draw your eye in and kind of give you that sense. There's lots of parks that I've been to dozens of times. I mean, I've spent years just wandering around Utah and Arizona and Colorado, and I'll visit the same places dozens of times until I get the right light or get the weather I'm looking for, or just capture that perfect moment. Yeah, like Utah, like Escalante, I've been to a dozen times. I mean, Washington and Oregon, I've spent years and visited the same place many times. I feel like every time you see a place, you can see it completely differently, just based on, whether the weather's different or your frame of mind's different, and you can find something new every time. Sometimes it'll just be a 5-minute walk from the car. Sometimes it'll be the roadside. Sometimes it'll be 3 weeks hiking across Washington. It all depends, really. I mean, I never really know what I'm looking for until I find it. And sometimes it's just long backcountry trips, and then sometimes it's just something I see on the side of the road. So it can be whatever inspires me at the moment, really. I've just always had a love of the natural world, a love of everything nature, and I'm just hiking and in the wilderness has always kind of been my passion. So I've always just wanted to try and convey some of like the beauty that I find out there, and kind of do justice to nature and portray the beauty that I find there, try and capture it on the lens. It's definitely a feeling that I'm trying to portray. Like sometimes I get out there and I'll like laugh, almost cry, just like the beauty of a place can really just like take my breath away. And so I feel like I'll know when I've kind of captured that. Being a photographer, I get to still do what I love and make a living at it. So it's pretty win-win as far as I can say. I mean, I've definitely had some sketchy moments. Tumbling down the waterfall, falling through the frozen lake, that sort of thing. Gotten myself into some silly situations. One time I was on a mountain in Vancouver, and I started sliding down the mountain, and somehow in the middle of this slide, the release on my bear mace came off, and I bear maced myself in the face, and my water bottle was frozen. So I just had to lay in the snow and just melt snow on my eyes for almost 6 hours until I could finally see again. It was, got myself into some dumb situations, but I try and be safe. And I feel like my photography is kind of how I speak the joy that I find out there. I can't always describe why this place was amazing, but I can usually take a picture of it and translate the awe that I saw there to other people. So it's kind of how I share my vision of the world.